Good evening, everyone. My name is Chris Cooper, known as the Channel Guy Trader, and I'm reporting to you live from Wall Street Trading's Miami office down in sunny South Florida. Today's date is Monday, July the 1st, 2013, and here is today's After the Bell Market Summary brought to you by WallStreetTrading.com. Want to first start off by taking a look to see how the indices closed the session out here for the day. The Dow Jones closed up 65 points, the Nasdaq closed up 31, and the S&P 500 closed up a little over 8.5 points. If we take a look at the breadth on the market today, we had 4,426 issues advancing on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex. We had 1,710 issues declining on the NYSE, Nasdaq, and the Amex, so therefore breadth was in favor of the bulls today. You take a look at some of the stock action here. There was some action in Apple. Looks like that's where a lot of the upside momentum was at in the market today. Apple was up a little over 3% here. We had some weakness in the utility group. We had some mixed action in the healthcare, some mixed action in the financials, and some mixed action basically across the board. Some of the standouts were in the technology sector: Apple, INTU, FSLR. Some of the solar stocks continued today with their momentum. We had some some news out on CSIQ, which brought some more momentum back into those stocks, as those stocks really been in play for the past couple sessions from last week. And now if we take a look at the market here, starting off the SPY, the S&P 500 ETF here up 94 cents, closing at 161.36. You can see the market action has been pretty choppy since last week Monday. Every day we're gapping up. We're gapping up some, we're gapping down some, and you really can't trade this garbage action right here. And if you can, you really got to try to look for some momentum plays. Luckily, we've been able to try to shift our way through, sift through some of these stocks in the market and catch some decent plays in the morning. And then throughout the day, sometimes we increase those gains, or we give some of that back in the afternoon session. There's a lot of the afternoon session lately after the morning move has been garbage. Now you can see this trend line that we've been highlighting here, the 161 level. You can see we're above that 161 level. This trend line, however, is still acting a little bit as resistance right here. All right, around the 160, 150 area, 162. That trend line comes from this little pivot low that we made back right here, back in, say, February, to this little pivot low that we made back right here in April, that you can see on the trend line bounce right there in the supply zone, or demand zone, down there. And then we broke below it right here, which caused a selling pressure 2 weeks ago. And then last week was just nothing but gap up, chop, gap up, chop, gap up, chop, with, of course, looking around the market, having to make sure that you pick those selective stocks and you're in the right stocks. Now, we are having some trouble in this area. You can see we sold off of today's highs, and we're back below this key trend line. So I would say if we break below today's lows, this 161 level, we could possibly do some back and fill action down here around 160 or maybe even 159. It's, again, this action that we had last week. This is just doji, indecision candle, mix, action on both sides of the candle. It's tough action out there right now, guys. Of course, this is not going to last forever. There'll be some decent days where it picks a direction. We get some long, nice engulfing candles that close that way. But at the moment, you just really got to be stock selective. Let's take a look at the ES action, see what the ES did today. The ES is still hanging above some of our key trend lines here. If you guys recall, I went over the analysis why this trend line is on this chart right here on the ES. You can take a look at some of the old videos I have, and you can see where these trend lines come from. But you can see right now we've been hanging above this little key trend line around the 1600 area. If we can just continue to base above the 1600 area, we should be in good shape, looking for a move back up towards these highs around 1621, then possibly around like a 1650 if we catch some momentum here this week. It is a 4-day week. Markets are closed on Thursday for 4th of July, and I'm pretty sure most people aren't even really trading this week at all to begin with. So that's how the ES is looking. If we can hold these 1600s, then that would be pretty good. If not, we're probably going to come back down and do some backfill action back towards this 1580 area. Taking a look at the triple Qs, the NASDAQ 100 ETF closed up 44 cents today. Was showing some nice momentum in the morning session, but then started showing a little bit of weakness before the other indices. So the Nasdaq was showing a little bit of relative weakness to the other indices today, and then the Russell 2000, which we'll take a look at here shortly, was actually one of the stronger indexes today until it started rolling over around 2 o'clock or so with the rest of the market. But same thing for the triple Qs. We're trying to get back with the key trend line that we've been tracking since the start of the year. You guys can see it here. That key trend line has been in play. We broke above it right here, and we try to hold above it. These two attempts right here a couple weeks ago, but we were not able to hold above it. And we broke down, and now we're coming back to recheck the area. We rallied up to that level today, and they used that opportunity for that rally to short it right back down. And we have this ugly looking candlestick on the triple Qs here where we rallied up and sold off and closed right on the low. So definitely got to keep an eye on today's lows here. If we break today's lows, we could get some back and fill action for this gap that we had up today and maybe trade back down towards the 71.30. If we can make a nice move back up and get back above 72, if we take out today's highs around 72.30, we could get some nice traction. If we have another gap up here that fills around 72.77. Let's take a look at the IWM, the Russell 2000. This is the index that I told you guys. If the markets move up together, this is the go-to index for the fact that it's a little bit more controlled. Has not been that much over the place. You can see for the past couple of weeks, it's really just been trading in a range. So again, if the markets continue to get a bounce, the Russell 2000 is the index you want to go to. You want to look at those small cap companies. Maybe you want to look at that TNA ETF. Excuse me, trying to talk fast a bit there. Want to take a look at that TNA ETF. If we break out over this 99 level here and hold above it, and then we could possibly expect to move back towards the top side. But again, the Russell 2000 looks a little bit more contained, looks a little bit better than the other indices. So keep an eye on the Russell here. Let's take a look at the currencies and see what action we have here. The euro was strong today. The dollar was weak. We did see a little bounce in some of the basic material stocks off this weakness in the dollar. If you guys take a look, some of the coal stocks made a nice move today. We actually had a nice trade in WLT today because we noticed that the dollar was getting weak and some of these basic material stocks were taking that opportunity to get a bounce here. Most of them are deeply oversold. Doesn't mean they're going to get a sustained bounce, but of course it is just a trade idea and an idea you could use to make some cash flow trades intraday. The dollar index is back at this resistance level, this 83.50 level. You guys recall this is a little consolidation that we had here on the dollar index off that up move. That this type of action usually would have resolved to a move to the top side that failed. Hence the nice little sell-off we had in the dollar. And then we had a nice little V-shaped recovery. And now we're back at that key resistance area. So keep an eye on the dollar. If we break over Friday's highs of 83.60, we may get some traction. Let's go ahead and take a look at that euro dollar, which was pretty strong today. Let's see, the euro dollar is back at the support around the 130 area. I'm just watching, again, just watch these currencies to see how they relate to the different asset classes and to see, sometimes the market moves in correlation with the euro and I'm sorry, not with the euro anymore. It's moving in correlation more with the dollar now. So that's how it's been trading for the past couple of weeks. Haven't really been watching it that close to see if it's a strong correlation or weak. But before, a couple of weeks back, the market was correlating pretty strong with the dollar index. I'm not sure how that's relating right now, and it was trading inverse of the euro. But anyways, the euro got to bounce out this 130 area. For some of you guys out there that trade the euro, this could be a possible area to pick up some. Looking for a bounce back up towards this 132 area possibly, but we'll see. Again, we don't really trade the euro. We just kind of track it with the other currencies and the other asset classes. Taking a look at the VIX to see what the VIX did today. The VIX sold off. It was showing some weakness pre-market, then it broke Friday's low and had some downside action, while the markets had a nice little momentum moves to the top side, squeezing out some of that little volatility that's been in the market, some of that premium, some of that fear, coming out of the market a bit. But then, of course, it came back after 2 o'clock when they sold the markets off. Hence, the VIX coming off the lows today during the session and closing up a little bit off the lows. Nothing too crazy there. Let's take a look at the bonds. And I've been able to touch back with you guys on the bonds. The bonds are still, in a downtrend from the nice little breakdown they got when they broke this 115 area, and then that momentum breakdown they really got when they broke that 112 area, and the volume came in. And now we're just kind of floating around here, bouncing around, but all in all, the weekly chart still damaged. The head and shoulders pattern breakdown did occur, and as long as we hold below this 112 area, so we should be looking for these bond prices to continue going down and these interest rates slowly to continue creeping up. I was just reading an article earlier saying that student loans are going to double starting next Monday or something like that. That's not going to be a good sign. I know a lot of friends of mine that including myself, that I have student loans from my grad school and undergrad, and it's not going to be a pretty picture for a whole bunch of people. Have to start paying higher payments on their student loans. If they don't have a fixed rate, it's not going to be a pretty picture. As people are already stressing about not able to find a job to pay back some of those loans they took out. from grad school or from undergrad. So we'll see how that plays out. That's more of a bigger picture event. So let's just keep it on the small time frame. The bonds right now, they look like they may get a bounce up, but again, they're still trading below the 20-day declining moving average, an exponential moving average right here. What else? Let's go take a quick look at the currencies. I mean, it's not the currencies, but the commodities. I did not have a chance to do a week in review video as we had a nice little meetup down at our Miami office. Again, if you're in the area, you could go on meetup.com and sign up to our meetup group where we meet with local traders and different people across the investment field and trading field that we get together, gather here at the office, and we talk charts and just talk general markets. You could go to meetup.com and look up Wall Street Trading South Florida, and you'll be able to find that group there. Maybe you can make it to the next one if you're in the South Florida area. As far as gold goes, gold's getting a nice little breakdown. You can see from the nice little inverted cup and hat-on pattern that we had, we did hit that target down there around 1200. And then if you put the Fibonacci extension from this leg down to this leg up to the next leg down we reached a measured move of 100%, which was right here. And then we even extended that move to the downside in gold down here toward the 161.8% retracement extension. Extension Fibonacci, and we've been getting a bounce since Friday, and we had some nice momentum in gold again today, and some of those gold miners. So gold getting a nice bounce. We'll see how this plays out. Really can't get bullish back on gold until we stabilize above 1350, which is $100 away. Taking a look at the GDX, the gold miners. Again, I'm going through all the stuff here since I did not have a chance to go through the weekend review video with you guys here. The GDX gold miners, a little doji day today, nothing crazy there. Gapped up a little bit, chopped around. If you take a look at the individual stocks, though, here, Newmont Mining, this one had a little action today. Gave you an opportunity to pick some up off the lows right there. Did not have a nice follow-through day, but it did give you an opportunity to buy some discount prices on that. If you take a look at GG and other gold mining names, this one had better follow-through than the Newmont Mining. This one looks pretty good. It has a gap fill up here towards 2620. If you could get above 2620 and start to build a base above that level, that would be pretty interesting there to watch as well. But either way, gold's still a sector that I would not be looking at right now. There's better opportunities out there. Crude oil's very interesting. After selling off the past couple, last week, it's right back at that 98 handle level, and we put in a nice little higher pivot from these little pivot lows that we had down here. Pivot right here, 93. And now if we take out this 99, this thing can get a nice momentum move over 100. Now, again, this is not going to be good for us consumers, as gas prices are going to go up. We're going to be paying higher prices at the pump, and we're going to be losing some of that money that we use to save and all that other stuff to buy some of our discretionary items like shoes, sneakers, your little frappuccino stuff that you buy at McDonald's. Yeah, you're not going to be able to buy that anymore if these gas prices go up. So keep an eye on the crude oil. What you could do is, if crude oil breaks out, put some money in crude oil, make some money in it, and use those funds to buy some McFlurries and some stuff like that. In any case, a little joke for you guys. Crude oil's moving to the top side. It's strong. We'll take a look at. Definitely want to make sure you keep some of these energy stocks on your radar. You had some nice action in EOG today. You see this one's making a nice move to the top side. A little bit sloppy, but making this move back to the top side. You had some nice action. Some of the refiners, even though they were not able to hold their gains, like VLO had a nice little bounce today, but sold right back down. You have also TSO. Let's see what this one did. This one's not looking good at all. So some of the refiners, they bounced up today, but then they came right back down. Let's see here. PXD. This one had a nice little day today. This one was up over 2.5%. All right, looks pretty interesting here. Definitely keep an eye on that energy stock. And let me see. CHK had some action today. A little bounce there. CHK, I think this chart's starting to shape up a little bit here. Definitely got to keep an eye on this right here. If you draw this little trend line, right there, if we break away this trend line tomorrow, we take out this little pivot high that we have right here. This one may be able to get some action. So this one's on the radar for tomorrow, as it has a nice little trigger over this 20-day moving average and over this high at 2090. I'm actually going to set an alert right now so I don't forget about it for tomorrow. So I got an alert at 2090. The financials, they were holding up today a bit. Had a nice little move in the morning, but then they gave back their gains. You can take a look at all of them. I mean, Goldman Sachs, nice little move out the gate, but it was not able to hold its gains. Wells Fargo, we'll take a look at that chart right now. You can see that action right there. Wells Fargo, WFC. This was one of the stronger looking charts out there for the banks. This one had a little pop up in the morning, but then gave it back. But there's some action out there. Like I said, you just really have to make sure in the right sectors. Again, the action has been in some of these solar stocks. CSIQ just has been on a tear here. Looks like it has some short squeeze action going on ever since it broke past this 615 level. This thing's been a nice little momentum trade here. Kind of sloppy, but it's been giving you those days where you can catch a nice move to the top side. So keep an eye on CSIQ, FSLR. All right, this one had a nice little bounce as well. Keep an eye on this one for some fall through the market. These lows are in play. And there's some action in the biotech stocks because of Amgen. Amgen put out a bid for this company ONXX, and they rejected the bid. I mean, they think they're worth more than the buyout price, which I believe was 140. The stock's trading 131. Keep an eye on this one for tomorrow, possibly for some fall through or some fade action. Aside from that, have a great night, folks. Catch you guys in the morning. If you've not been to the chat room yet, mywallstreettv.com. Password to login is smart. Or if you want to get access to some more of the information that we give out, you want to make sure you go to our website and join the mailing list, which also gives you access to the chat room via the form on the right-hand side of the home page, or follow us on Facebook, Google Plus. We post up a lot of our intraday action and information on those social media networks. Have a great day, guys. Cheers.